everyone, I'm your features writer for the Times and Democrat newspaper, and I'm here at Voorhees College with Congressman John Lewis. You just got through speaking a very poignant message, telling us not to leave our posts, not to leave our charge, what God has given us to do, that we must now carry that out. How do you think your message was received today to the college students that were here and also the constituents at the university?
I think the people here was very attentive. They listened and in a quiet and a beautiful way. So I'm convinced that they took in what I had to say. And hopefully during the next few days they would contemplate and think about it.
Now, before you were 25 years old, I think you were 23 at the time, you had already organized sit-ins, demonstrations. You said that one of the beatings that you received was here in South Carolina, in Rock Hill, and then meeting the gentleman and his son that beat you. Tell us a little bit more about that story and what that meant for you to see how far we've come as a country for this gentleman to come back and apologize to you, what, some 50 years later?
It was a little more than 50 years later. It says something about the power of the philosophy and the discipline of nonviolence. That when we were beaten, we didn't react in a violent fashion because we really did believe in the way of peace, in the way of love, in the way of nonviolence. I remember on that day in Rock Hill at the Greyhound bus station, after we had been beaten, the local police officials came up and said, "Do you want to press charges?" We said no.
Wow.
And we were taught to have the ability, the capacity to forgive. During the past few years, I meet people all over saying to me, "Congressman, Mr. Lewis, I want to apologize on behalf of all of the white people of Alabama or Mississippi for what we did."
And so obviously that resonated with you. I know you could hear a pin drop as you were speaking, and you said that at one time you wanted to become a minister. Now talk a little bit about your faith and how that was able to get you through some of those terrible times that you all experienced during the height of the civil rights era.
If it hadn't been for my faith, I don't think I would have survived. It hadn't been for the prayers of the righteous, I don't think many of us would have survived. I remember being beaten on the bridge in Selma on March 7th, 1965. It became known as Bloody Sunday. I was left bloody and unconscious. When I got up, I thought I was going to die. But somehow I believe and truly believe that God kept me here for a purpose.
Light questions, rapid fire. What's the latest book you're reading?
The latest book that I'm reading is a book called March. I'm rereading it.
Okay.
It's a book that I put together with two other guys, and it's a graphic novel. And it's a trilogy. It's three books, and we just have the first one.
Right.
And it's for children, for young people,
Wow.
and it's doing very, very well.
Okay.
I'm rereading it in order to improve on the second book.
Wonderful. Now, what has made you smile immensely lately?
I was watching the Olympics last evening, and I saw two young people who had been together for 17 years, that dancers.
Yes.
And they
won.
danced, they won.
Yes.
And they did so well. And the couple was just like they were made for each other.
I saw
Made
that.
me smile.
Yeah, that was excellent. Pet peeve.
I tend to tell people, pace yourself. I tell my son, I tell my brothers and sisters, I tell my cousins, I tell my staff, and I even said it to the president. I said, "Mr. President," and sometimes I call him brother, I said, "Brother, pace yourself."
I love that. Favorite quote?
I think it is, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?"
Love it. Last one. Your birthday is Friday. What are your plans?
My plan is to return to rural Alabama where I grew up and speak at two elementary schools. One was an all-white school when I was growing up. but I have grandnieces and nephews there, and they've invited me to come to speak. They've been reading the book more. And the other school is a school where there's a fourth grader wrote me a letter and said, Congressman Lewis, I heard you're going to be only 5 miles from my school. He said, I'm in a play, and I'm playing John Lewis, and I want you to come and visit me. And so I plan to go there.